been delivering for years 10 to 20,000 masks. Okay, it's a New York hospital, it's packed all the time. How do you go from 10 to 20 to 300,000, 10 to 20,000 masks to 300,000, even though this is different? Something's going on, and you ought to look into it as reporters. Where are the masks going? Are they going out the back door? How do you go from 10,000 to 300,000? And we have that in a lot of different places. So somebody should probably look into that, because I just don't see from a practical standpoint how that's possible to go from that to that. And we have that happening in numerous places, and not to that extent. That was the highest number I've heard. That's the highest number you've seen, I would imagine, right? But this man makes them and delivers them to a lot of hospitals. He knows the system better than anybody, and I think you were more surprised than I was when you saw that number, so thank you very much. I hope I didn't get any of your clients in trouble.
All right, Mr. President, I don't think you understand how important this isolation gown is supposed to be for the nurses. If you don't see and understand how these numbers are increasing, doubling, and tripling, it's because we wear them once. We reuse these masks. They're isolation gowns. These protective personal type of gears that we wear are thrown in the trash before we leave the room. We're not supposed to reuse it. That means we're going to go ahead and spread the virus to everyone that we come in contact with, which is unprofessional, unethical. And from your standpoint, I know you're doing your best as the president, but you got to listen to us registered nurses for being in the field for this long. This is such a high, important value for all of us to be on the same team. And it's not just nurses that are on front line, officers in the front line, military in the front line. President, you are supposed to lead our country, so you're number one in the front line. If you don't believe those numbers, welcome to the hospital. I'm not saying to get admitted, but I'm letting you know, please, as our standpoint as a registered nurse, to stop spreading this pandemic. We got to understand the importance of the safety of these isolation gowns, the protective personal gear, and also how we take care of the patients. But most importantly, if we get sick as registered nurses and then spread this to our family, we will not be able to take care of the rest of the world that comes into the hospital. So please understand that coming from a medical field individual, this is so important that you please understand. Yes, these masks are getting used, but we're not reusing these, because if we do, we're going to spread this virus even more and the pandemic's going to increase.